I'm really loving this anime so far. I really like it. There are a ton of things I didn't expect. One, I didn't expect Envy Adams to actually show up to Scott's funeral, even though it, like, makes sense. I didn't think that would happen. And two, and probably the bigger one, I didn't expect Matthew to become, like, the main character, basically.
I'm the main character.
So yeah, this is episode 2 of Scott Takes Off, and I'm very excited to talk about it, so I'm just gonna jump right in. This episode picks up, like, exactly where the last one left off, and Scott is actually dead. Like, he's dead. I mean, there's no corpse, and he's not actually dead, but he's in some kind of, like, strange circumstance that I presume probably happened to all the other Evil X's after they were defeated in the movie and they turned into coins, because, like, it was always kind of funny metaphor, like, oh, he defeated them, so now they're dead, but, like, you know he didn't actually kill them, or you would think. I don't know. A lot of stuff in the movie and the comics are presented in, like, an over-the-top manner, so I don't think Scott is, like, canonically a murderer, but I guess technically he could be if you think about it. Who knows? But I'm really loving this anime so far because after we pick up right where we left off, we go in entirely, like, new direction with all of these characters, because a lot of the characters we come to know them as are only shaped that way because of the events of the story that, like, kind of unfold in such a manner. Like, you're kind of under the impression that if an Evil X were to beat Scott in a battle, Ramona would never get back together with them, right? And if that was, like, the whole purpose of the battle, battling over Ramona's love, well, she already dumped them, right? Like, she's not going to get back together with them, except for Gideon in the movie, in the comics, right? Which is its own circumstance, right? There's mind control going on there, so bit different. But so when Matthew beats Scott and he's just like, Ramona, now we can get back together, and Ramona just, like, leaves, I was like, yo, what did you fucking think was gonna happen? What I didn't expect was this being the catalyst for an entire, like, arc about how Matthew realizes the flaw of the League, which was, yeah, all of them were never gonna get back with Ramona, so why the fuck would they be in a League of Evil X's if, like, the Evil X, all they're doing is fucking with Ramona's life? They're not gonna get back together with her. Like, they're not gonna get her. That's not how that works. And then seeing Matthew actually fight Gideon, which, power scaling for a moment, if Scott beat Matthew and then Scott beat Gideon in the movie, well, if Gideon lost to Scott in the movie, that means that if Matthew beats Scott in this weird timeline, yeah, power scaling wise, Matthew could probably beat Gideon. Now granted, I feel like Gideon was kind of nerfed in this fight, and I really wish he did, like, a lot more cool shit. It wasn't until, like, halfway through the battle he even got his swords, but I don't really care about any of that, because the animation this episode was so good! All the action scenes, even the, like, little sequence of very little things, like the way that Knives is animated in realizing that Scott is dead, which is funny because, like, the show never happened because the bass player got punched to death. It's just, like, a line that's said in this episode, which is great. All these, like, smaller moments, and these little things, like the music cutting off in Ramona's montage of, like, fondly remembering Scott Pilgrim and the guy who died because of her, technically, because her Evil X's, like, got Scott killed, technically. I mean, she is, in a roundabout way, kind of responsible, but not really. Like, she didn't actually kill Scott with her own hands. Knives being mad at her makes sense, too, because that's kind of a plotline that happens across all forms of the media. But it makes a lot more sense here because, like, the person she was dating fucking died because of this other girl, right? Like, that's crazy. I couldn't imagine if I was put in that circumstance. So Knives is a little upset, right? But having the music cut out from the montage because Ramona turns the light off was just like, oh, that's a nice little touch. Having the coins be in the casket, nice little touch, I love that. Isn't his casket just gonna be the coins? That'd be so funny.
I'm sorry, Scott.
Please show the coins. Yes! The elevator, like, transforming into basically like a ocean of stars and beams of light as it goes up to the secret lair. I love this episode. This episode is, like, so interesting. And I don't know if it's necessarily just because it's doing something different, and that's why I'm liking it so much, but I'm really invested in all these characters. With the absence of Scott, we get a lot of developments that we would have, like, never really seen. I mean, as shallow as Envy is as a person and character, the fact that she actually showed up to Scott's funeral at all, and even sang a little song which was overplayed over a montage of all the Evil X's getting their letters and stuff, which I really liked. The storytelling and direction of this episode, I think, is way better than the first episode, because it does a lot of stuff with animation, whereas the first episode was kind of retelling the movie up to a certain point, and didn't really get to play with a lot of the stuff that animation can do. It felt like Edgar Wright was just directing live-action characters that just happen to be animated, but now it feels like an actual anime, and I fucking love that. When the fight starts between Matthew and Gideon, and they start fighting, and it's like an old-timey, like, Street Fighter arcade game, oh my god, that was awesome, and it just keeps, like, escalating and escalating and escalating as they go through the whole facility. Like, call me a fucking sucker for it, but I was smiling the whole fucking time. It was great. What the hell, bro? Really? Oh my god, it's like Street Fighter. And then Matthew won! Matthew, my boy, he actually won! He beat Gideon! That's crazy! Oh my god, Matthew is fucking shorted up! Wait, he lost! Like, this introduces, like, an entire new direction, because, like, what the fuck is Gideon gonna do now? Like, he doesn't have anything. And it seems like we're gonna focus on him more, so I'm really interested. I'm really invested. I really, really, really like this episode. I don't really have any major complaints other than the stuff that I said before about, like, some of the voice direction being a little weird. Some shots linger a bit too long after actors, or voice actors, like, say their lines, which I don't really know why they do that. It kind of is weird that they'll sometimes just, like, sit on a still frame for a little bit too long. But those are very minor problems in terms of, like, the whole episode itself. I really like the music, too. The church was a really intricate and ornate location, and it was really beautiful, and I liked the fact that, like, the background changed as Envy showed up, and all the, like, paparazzi ninjas, which was just random, but I really liked it. Yeah, I'm really loving this show so far, and I really want to watch episode 3, so I'm recording this right now, and then I'm going to watch episode 3 right after this. If I had to give this episode a score, I'd give it a 5 out of 5. This is my favorite episode so far, and I hope they keep getting better.